Speaking of howling points, Ferrari were howling points like that because they also had introduced some updates at the beginning of the European races in the Formula One calendar. And the first of the European races was the Emilia-Romagna GP. And that's when we saw teams bringing in the major updates that we've been expecting. Remember, we talked on this and we said, listen, this is where we know whether you have the truth,
what you're made of,
or you're here to actually fill up the grid. Yeah. Now, two teams primarily are in focus at this updates situation, or I don't know how to put it, the whole update aura thing. And that's McLaren and Ferrari, because those are the guys who are looking like they can mount a challenge to Red Bull, the top dogs, the guys in front. And an interesting revelation has happened after those two races. Okay, for me rather. I don't know about you guys, but it is interesting. Now, these two are neck and neck. A few months ago, we will clearly say Ferrari are the second best car. But right now, do you think that's still the case?
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first of all, what I'm noticing is these updates, we have seen them in Monaco and what's the other race called? Imola. And the constant thing is that McLaren have very drastically improved. That is the constant thing, first of all. Because even seeing how, was it Piastri? He missed a pole. Some say because Max got a nini, what do you call it? The one you follow somebody.
Slipstream.
Toe.
He got a toe from Hülkenberg. Although Hülkenberg also did get a toe from Max in the.
I mean, it was a little,
cooperation.
Yeah.
Some inter-team work.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say McLaren have drastically improved, and even if you look at the drivers, the way they do the conferences and everything, they are very confident in what they do.
Yeah.
And also, Piastri, I'm sure is looking for a win this season. So McLaren's update, I would say they make them, like, as a team right now. If like we were to start the season right now, they would be the favorites.
So are we in consensus McLaren have made the hugest leap in terms of updates?
It depends. If we look at the entire grid, I'd say VCAB with Yuki.
That's Yuki, not updates.
Yes, that's Yuki.
Yeah.
But if you look at the top five, looking at Aston, Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull, I'd say from the beginning of the year to now, Monaco, I do agree with Mushiri that McLaren seem to be the ones who made that jump forward.
Significant leap.
Yes, compared to Ferrari. And the reason I'm saying this is because, yes, Ferrari introduced their big update at Imola. But both of the drivers, Charles and Sainz, after the race, they weren't sure.
Do you think it was an update situation or a setup situation?
I think it was an update situation because I don't think there's anyone from the Ferrari camp who said this update is going to take us closer to Red Bull. I remember them saying this update, I think it was the technical director, he said this update, it's an organic update or upgrade. It's coming in to solve the unpredictability that the SF24 and even last year's car, the one as in it had that, it was behaving unpredictably and also bringing stability to that platform. So it wasn't an upgrade to take them closer to Red Bull, but it was an update to bring stability, as I said, and also give the drivers that confidence. Because remember, Imola, even after quali, Charles was wondering, like, how comes the McLarens and the Ferraris, and the Red Bulls are so damn quick? As in, what could be going on? And after the race, Carlos was asked, like, just how did the race unravel for you? As in, were you satisfied with the pace that the car had? And Sainz said, yes, we brought an update. It didn't take us closer, but there's something that's happening with the car, something that we can't say because this is Formula One. Which got me thinking, like, what else could be? Could it be power unit things?
But listen, you said why are the McLarens and the Red Bull so damn quick? The Red Bull wasn't damn quick. I mean, Max was actually proving his worth in that Red Bull, because I remember Checo had a nightmare of a qualification. And the guys who were looking outrightly quick were the McLarens. I agree with you on that. But the Red Bulls, it was a case of Max I don't want to say over driving, but he was kind of wrestling to the limits with the car.
Monaco, yes, not Imola. There's this thing which
in Imola on mediums, Max was very good, but on hards,
yes,
there were problem. The same thing with Miami. Mediums, Max was good on mediums, but on hards, he was struggling.
Remember Imola? During free practice, McLaren's and I think Alonso were, I think they seemed like the update took them actually forward compared to Red Bull brought a very small update if I remember correctly. But Ferrari also brought a huge update. So Ferrari were perplexed. Like, we brought something, but come quali day and come race day, it looks like we are still on the back foot. Because I think that was the first time that I actually thought, and to date, I still think Red Bull are now sandbagging. Because in free practice,
you're hearing it here first, folks.
Yeah, because free practice, you're wondering like, okay,
in Imola,
yes, because free practice, you're looking and you're like, hey, is this guy really okay? Yes, Max is complaining,
yeah, but he does that.
Come quali, it's something different. As in, just think about it. Friday, Max and Checo complain. Come Saturday, they've done something different. FP3, the car looks competitive. Come quali, you're wondering like, what? Where has this space come from?
So what Max said, he said that they were trying different things, but on quali day they tried something different, and that is thanks to some guys back in the factory working on the scene.
Yeah, Sebastian Buemi, and I've forgotten the other guy.
Yeah, so because of that is what is credited to the jump in pace throughout the weekend. Yeah,
but it again, Ferrari decided to show their hand, and even McLaren in FP3 decided to show their hand, as in what pace they have in hand, and not in quali. So, and that's why I'm basing my argument on what Sainz and also Charles, what they said. Like, if during free practice we seemed like we're the guys who are really quick, then come quali, we are the third quickest.
Okay,
I don't know if you remember those sentiments from Charles. But even after the race, Carlos also said the same thing. Like,
okay, what did you think?
I see what he's trying to say here, but that's not how I viewed the whole situation.
How did you see it?
That's not how I viewed the whole situation Imola? Personally. Yeah, we're still talking about Imola. Because I remember. Now let me talk about quali, because you guys have talked about the free practice sessions. When we got to quali, I remember I could see a lot of struggling from Checo and Max to some degree. Yeah. But Max was, I think, sector 1. He was consistently putting that that purple patch on sector 1, because also Max is known to, while driving, his sector 1s are always super good. So that happened. Then Checo failed to make the cut in Q2. Checo was eliminated in Q2, I think by tenths of seconds. I don't remember the exact number, but it was tenths. So when Checo didn't make it to Q1, guys were looking at Max, and I remember Max. I remember. I don't know if the comment was the guy is on a knife's edge or something like that. There was a lot of that going on, and guys were like, "Will he even make pole?" Because there was a lot of leaning towards Norris or Piastri getting pole.
Yeah.
Now, when he got pole, I remember Max Verstappen's reactions to him getting pole. And he was like, I've really earned that. I've had to work for that. And those were the first traces of us looking at that Red Bull, and we're like, so is it really beatable? Remember, we've been looking at that Red Bull for 2.5 years now. We've been looking at it, and we know, like, these guys, we can't compete. These guys have been so far ahead. And
last year, yes, 2022, it was close between Ferrari and Red Bull.
Not really close if you look at it.
It's actually
at the beginning of the year, it was
just
domination.
At the beginning of the year, it was. I mean, it was kind of close, but towards the end of the year, when the updates came in, we fell off.
It's Ferrari that fell off.
That's what I've said. We fell off. Yeah. So, but the Red Bull has been looking dominant. They always go into a race weekend confident. confident.
It's coming back.
But in Imola, I didn't see them that confident. I saw them uncomfortable for the first time in a minute. They've been looking uncomfortable these past few races, this year specifically, not this past few races. This year, they've been looking uncomfortable in scenarios. Not fully uncomfortable because the only races they haven't won, looking at
Two. For
the signs in Australia, he had an issue. Yeah? The Norris one in Miami, it was a safety car that helped Norris to some degree. Yeah? But, okay, sorry for skipping Emilia and going straight into Monaco. With the Monaco one, that's the first defeat that was a defeat without an excuse. Can I put it like that? That was the first defeat, like a defeat without an excuse. But before that defeat came, we saw the remnants of them being uncomfortable at Imola.
So
and
what
it
are you
would be
trying to
remiss
say?
of me not to say this Imola GP was actually also celebrating Senna, the passing of Senna and Rattenberger.
And Ronald.
Yeah, that's 30 years ago. Yeah, they
But McLaren milked.
yeah, I've seen what you said. I've seen what you say. Don't let them catch you.
Nah, but it's the truth. Because
Don't let them catch you.
wondering why is the entire Imola just about Senna, and that weekend lost 2 drivers.
2 guys died.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, it is what it is.
And McLaren continued.
we got to see my favorite driver back in Sebastian Vettel, and Sebastian did a good job in trying to actually bring both names into the picture, because Sebastian was like, Senna, we lost Senna.
He drove a McLaren.
Yeah, he did, but he waved both of the flags.
And the McLaren car was just littered with the name Senna. But anyway, it is what it is.
It was Senna on one side and
No, it just had Senna all over the place. But it is what it is.
Come on. Seb doesn't do people like that. But anyway, we're digressing.
I know you'll go to the grave with.
I will die. Yeah. Anyway, so the first remnants of them being uncomfortable was seen at Imola.
No, Miami.
I mean Miami, McLaren are looking fast.
Miami, the Hards.
Okay, I can agree with that. I can agree on that. I can agree
even
on that.
even in Imola, it was the Hards. If you remember, when the first stint on mediums, Max took off. Then when in the second stint during Hards, that's when
They struggled,
that's when Nani was catching up. So I would say there are a couple of factors that is leading to their struggle. It's bumpiness of the track and Hards. So whether now I don't remember which compound was it C? Was it C? I don't remember it was which compound exactly. But I'm really waiting for Canada to see how it is going to go, if they're going to struggle on Hards.
Okay, before we continue scrupulously dissecting the whole Red Bull situation, we were also talking on updates, and those two weren't the only teams that had updates, McLaren and Ferrari, huge updates. A lot of other teams also bringing updates, yeah? And we know the Ferrari and the McLaren's one. The Ferrari one was more or highly anticipated because reports were leaking from Italy that update was the truth. You guys will find out, reports were leaking from Italy.
From Italy, Ama, you're the one who was.
No,
You're the source of the leak.
The source of the leak, yeah? But it turned out the papaya update was the one which was actually, hey, hold my beer. That was the update that was actually, giving us shivers. Now, those are not the only two guys that brought updates. Mercedes also brought some updates. Aston brought some updates. And I'm looking at Aston and I'm like,
Hey, bruh.
what updates did you bring, my brother? What updates did you bring? Because Fernando Alonso this guy has been struggling.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening, bro. Because, and for some reason, I actually found out that the past few races, Lance has actually been outperforming Alonso. Like the last 2-3 races.
Yes, he has.
And I'm looking at the Aston situation and we are like, remember when we were talking about driver rumors and things like that, we always like, hey, listen, Aston, they have a good driver in Alonso and the other guy is just there. But apparently he's not just there. He's actually a good driver and he's actually been beating his teammate. But away from that, back to the updates. Aston, their updates.
Yeah, the Aston situation, it's very peculiar. Remember last year they also brought updates and they regressed. Walirudi nyuma.
That's a downgrade now.
Yeah, it's a downgrade. And it took them when did they introduce it? Was it, remember the flexi wing? It was somewhere around there, Barcelona. Sorry, Canada.
Yeah.
Then I think it took them up to...
Canada is when they got the podium and Alonso had something to say about it. And he was like...
Yes, it was Canada.
It was Canada.
And the next race, I think it was Barcelona.
Yeah.
They brought updates to mess them up. And I think they were able to, I don't know, revert back to factory settings. I think, was it quarter?
They were like, hey,
quarter,
4 or 5 races in.
They were like, hey, bring back the old car. Bring back the old car.
You remember what we said that during that time we said that if you see a team that is suddenly performing well and then goes down, they must have been caught doing something wrong, and they had to deal with it behind closed doors. But they removed the illegal things that they had.
But my brother, you were actually riding that Alonso wave properly. That guy sold you dreams.
I got off the train at the end of the last year.
That guy sold you dreams. This year I haven't heard you mention.
He made lots of promises. I believed him, but this year, no.
But also remember last year, it's not that Aston Martin were closer to Red Bull. It's just because at that point in time, they were better than Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren.
Yeah.
But right now, where you have now Wenye Viti, owners of the positions,
when the guys who are supposed to be performing are performing.
Yeah.
Hey,
now,
you know what they say: when the cat is out, the mice will play. So, listen, Aston are like, hey, the cats are out.
The dust has settled. Now that is where Aston.
Now that I've said that,
like if you remember,
a few comments in the community. A few McLaren guys were like, hey, it's finally nice to see McLaren and Ferrari competing. And I was like, yeah, the natural order of things has been restored. Because these are the OG teams in Formula 1 currently.
No one cares.
We know, my guy. We know you're still hurting from Monaco. We know you're still hurting. Yeah, you were saying something before I cut you off.
So back at Aston Martin, like if you remember Bahrain last year, and then also the Monaco, like they were like neck and neck with Max for pole. And now that is the time I was fully on board the Alonso hype train. Yeah, I was
also on board.
The man sold you dreams.
and I was I was really looking forward for Alonso versus Hamilton throughout the season. But it never came to be. Now this season I'm watching Yuki versus Hamilton.
And you're like, damn, how the mighty have fallen. Speaking of Hamilton and Mercedes, I don't want to say bold claims. But they've been talking about we're bringing updates from here all the way to Silverstone. And I've been looking at them, and right now a P5 finish is a very good result for Mercedes, and I was telling myself, wow, how the mighty have fallen.
Isn't that their best finish this season?
I think so.
The P5 for Russell?
Yeah, I think it's their best finish. And that's their best result. They are now celebrating that. They are now celebrating that. Mercedes, I mean, I don't know who they're trying to compete with, because it's definitely not definitely not McLaren and Ferrari and Red Bull. Because, listen, again, this year, the championship has all of a sudden opened up. The championship has opened up all of a sudden. Everything is looking like...
So far.
Yeah, so far. Hey, look, 31 points and I don't know, 20-something points. The Constructors' Championship, it's 20-something points. The Drivers' Championship, it's 31 points. And unlike last year where the gap was something close to 70 points, 50 points, or the 100 range. So, I mean, anything could happen this year. We really do look like we have a title fight on our hands this year. On both fronts, the drivers and the constructors. I mean, Max is still Max Verstappen, but somebody can challenge him this season.